what's up everybody? My name is Ben.
I'm Luke.
And we're from Elite Welding Academy. Today, we're going to be answering some questions about our welding school. All right, so this will be the second video in this series of videos where we just take some of the most commonly asked questions about Elite Welding Academy, and we're going to answer them on YouTube for all of you. All right, so with that said, first question.
Elite Welding Academy.
Tape's a little strong.
Only teaches pipe welding.
I would say that is false. We are a pipe welding school, and unlike in our last video, we kind of touched on this a little bit. But we go through all the structural stuff and touch on a lot of different paths that someone can take in the welding industry. So the answer to that is definitely no. We cover a lot more than just pipe welding.
Yeah. Me personally and a lot of other students, when they came in here and they were told that they were going to be learning pipe welding, it was kind of a shock at first. It's not really what we thought we were signing up for, or at least me. But it turns out once you know how to weld pipe, you can weld basically anything. So I would say if you're wanting to pursue a career in welding, then you should learn pipe welding.
It's actually a very fine point, Luke. We kind of think of ourselves as the 1%ers of the welders because we know pipe. So having that knowledge of pipe, it gives you the freedom to kind of explore your career path and kind of go in any direction you kind of want to take. All right, next question. We got a two-parter here. All right, what welding processes does Elite Welding Academy teach? We pretty much cover them all. So to make a long story short, we do TIG, stick, flux core MIG, and hardwire MIG. We're not going to touch on the robotic welding and other stuff that you might see on social media because in order to land a job like that, more often than not, you have to have the certification or at least the knowledge of doing the other processes by hand on your own. So we just stick to that. All right, next question.
Yeah, what tape do you use?
Dude, regular Scotch tape, dude. I use too much. All right, I'll peel this one. Peel that one, right? 3, 2.
How much do Elite Welding Academy graduates make?
Going off of what we find as an average, I would say that graduates coming out of a 6-month welding program, whether that's with us or somebody else, you probably could be looking to make anywhere in the mid-20s to the high 20s, probably coming straight out of weld school. That's realistic per hour. Obviously, overtime in most cases is going to be time and a half. Sometimes it's even double time. And then there's per diems, which we'll get into that in another video. So I would say that's what you should be shooting for. There are people that are going to make more than that, and there's going to be people that are going to be in a situation where it's significantly less than that. It really is kind of individual based in how motivated and how kind of money hungry that individual is.
What are some of those jobs that would make less? You know, maybe wouldn't come with per diem.
So we'll add to this question. Yeah. Okay, great. I would say, you know, and I'm not to throw shade at anybody in their careers, to each their own, but anybody that works on like an assembly line or even in like a fab shop welding pipe can make a lot less than somebody who's doing the exact same work out in the field. So being willing to travel and being willing to be away from family for sometimes weeks at a time can significantly change your income when it comes to the end of the year when you're looking at your taxes, if that makes sense. If you're looking into welding, then I'm sure you've already heard about underwater welding. There's a lot of myths about that too, and we can get into that in another video as well. But I would say they're probably more up at the highest end of what a welder can make. All right, next question. Just rip it. How safe is welding at Elite Welding Academy? Welding is actually relatively safe if you follow the rules. The main thing in our industry, and especially at our school, is we try to drill it into our students' heads about PPE, and that stands for personal protective equipment. It's simple stuff: safety glasses, gloves, long sleeve shirts, wearing face shields when you're grinding, stuff that will eventually become second nature and it's just in your memory. You don't even think about it. But that doesn't mean that accidents don't happen. We've definitely been in situations where we've had mild injuries here at the school. We've had graduates go out and get mild injuries, but almost every single time that happens, the person wasn't using or wearing their PPE or wasn't using it properly, or they were just the type of person that just kind of had an attitude and didn't follow the very strict rules that are put in place to help keep us safe.
From personal experience, I know that coming in here, I didn't really realize how big safety is in the construction world. And every time you show up at Elite, every time you return from a break, and before we wrap the class up for the day, we have a safety topic. So I think Elite does a really great job of making that a priority, something you think about all day. And I know now, since I have graduated, that I have been put in many situations where I tend to be the safest on the site. So whether that means I'm taking those extra steps to grab the face shield and make sure my safety glasses are on underneath that face shield, or I do have ear protection in. Just those things that a lot of people thought, oh, it's just something small, takes 5 seconds, I'll just go ahead and do the work and not take the time to do the safety.
Exactly. So we try to really drill that in everybody's head, make it a habit before you leave. All right, last question for this video. All right, so the question is, how many instructors work at Elite Welding Academy? It's a great question. So at Elite, we keep a very specific student to teacher ratio. And if we get to a point where we're getting more students than we have teachers, we use the resources from our parent company, United Group Services or Core Crew. And we'll call up previous graduates even, or put out like an email to anyone that's ever had any involvement with Elite. And we're always hiring new instructors and bringing new people in. So if it's something you might be interested in, anybody out there, don't ever hesitate to hit us up. We're always looking for new qualified instructors. But like I said, we always try to keep a minimum of a certain amount of instructors for how many students we have in the building.
For those that are interested in becoming an instructor, what are some qualifications they need before they apply?
All right, we'll go ahead and put this out there. So if you are out there and you are interested, don't ever hesitate to hit us up. Everything will be in the links down below. But in order to be qualified or in the category where we would consider you hireable for being an instructor at Elite, we're looking for obviously welding experience. That doesn't mean you need to be a 20-year vet or something like that at welding. We're looking for mainly people that have that personality of an educator, somebody who has the right attitude, somebody who's willing to help others even when the others aren't willing to help them. So if that sounds like you and you have some welding knowledge, definitely don't ever hesitate to hit us up.
All right, guys, that wraps it up for today. If you guys have any more questions, just leave them in the comments below. If not, we'll catch you on the next one.
Have a good one, guys.